Hi, I'm Georgia Carroll, and this week we're continuing on with our Family Law Alphabet series talking about the letter N. So today I'm just going to focus on one word starting with the letter N, which is a notice of risk. So this is a document that is filed in all parenting matters, including both consent and contested matters. The reason for this form is to essentially notify the welfare authorities in relation to any purported risk of harm in relation to children. So the Family Law Act requires the court to report certain information to child welfare authorities because they are considered kind of like mediators and counsellors and things like that, mandatory reporters. So the matters to report include both allegations of child abuse or a risk of child abuse. And that risk part of it's really important because it's the thought of, is there a risk? Is there the potential for there to be a risk in certain circumstances, and how can we avoid that? And the second element is also allegations of family violence, and similarly a risk of family violence that may amount to abuse of a child. So family violence, as I've discussed in some of our earlier topics, is quite a broad ranged definition. So in the family law courts, it includes many things, including, for example, being exposed to arguments and physical violence within the household. So not necessarily being a victim of it, but that child being exposed to it and seeing it. And it can even extend so far as to seeing the aftermath of family violence. For example, one of the common things that we learn about when you're learning about family violence is the child coming in afterwards and seeing the broken plates and things on the floor, or the broken window from the aftermath of an argument. So that includes exposure to family violence. So the notice of risk, as I mentioned before, is a mandatory form that must be filed with any initiating application or response. So they're the two documents that start your proceedings. For a contested matter, or alternatively, in the consent orders form, you'll see there's also seeking parenting orders. There's also some ticks and crosses that need to be included and answered as part of that. So if you answer yes to there being a risk of harm, or concerned as to a risk of harm, the registry manager, so the person that essentially runs the office of the court, must provide a copy of the form to the relevant child welfare authority, together with any other court documents in support of that information. So for example, that may include documents produced by way of subpoena or affidavit material to assist those welfare authorities to investigate the matter. So those welfare authorities may be, for example, FACS, the Department of Communities and Justice, the police, and similar other bodies, so they can essentially provide those families and those children with early targeted intervention and assistance, so that it isn't left just lingering there as here's the risk, or I think there might be a risk, and then nothing happens. The purpose of this form is to get in early, target those families, and hopefully help resolve things and make life better for everyone. So that's notice of risk. Next time we're going to be talking about words starting with the letter O, so stay tuned. Thanks.